Hi, I'm Zach,
I'm Kaylee.
and we are the Newlyweds movie reviewers, and today we are coming to you with our top 10 best movies of 2013 so far. Um, we just got back from seeing The Conjuring, so that was really good.
That was exciting.
We have not seen Fruitvale Station or The Way, Way Back yet. Those are very, very limited releases, and they're not anywhere close to us. So, but pretty much everything else we've seen, really, other than
Pretty
those.
much.
So, we got a couple honorable mentions. Do you want to go through your honorable mention movies?
Yeah, I have 3 honorable mentions. These are movies that didn't quite make it into the top 10 list so far. They are Side Effects, World War Z, and Now You See Me.
I like Side Effects.
I really did too.
It's supposedly Steven Soderbergh's last theatrical release movie. It had some good acting and some good editing. The camera quality was good, but there was a lot of gray. You know what I mean? Like, the film was very gray in terms of there wasn't a lot of color.
Yeah.
Like, the whole
Muted.
movie kind of looked like, like a doctor's office,
Yeah.
kind of. But it was good. I liked
It was
it.
good.
What was the other one?
World War Z.
World War Z. That was good. It's just that...
It was like a new take on a zombie movie. I really liked it. I really like how they looked at the zombie outbreak. Like what the cause of it was.
Yeah,
you know?
I did too. I wish that it wouldn't have been PG-13.
Yeah.
If it was an R-rated movie, we would have seen Brad Pitt use the axe.
Yeah.
You know? It's hard to make a zombie movie with a PG-13
With no cutting
rating.
down the zombies. Yeah.
And what was your other one?
And Now You See Me.
Now You See Me. That was a
really
fun movie.
fun.
That
Yeah.
was fun. It was a fun summer movie. It was, it felt like 70 minutes, but it was like 2 hours. It was nice. It was nice though. It was just a fun summer movie.
Yeah.
My honorable mentions are Despicable Me 2, The Lone Ranger, and Side Effects. So we already talked about Side Effects. I thought The Lone Ranger was good, although it had its problems.
Yeah, it was long.
2.5 hours, but it didn't feel like it in the seat. But when you think about it, there's a lot they could have cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you could cut Helena Bonham Carter completely out of the movie, and it would be the same.
Right.
She had nothing to do with the plot. She was there to be there.
Right.
The Despicable Me 2 I really liked. That was
Loved it.
a lot of fun. I'm not a huge animated movie guy, but when they hit it right, they hit it right. And I liked the first Despicable Me, and I think this one definitely stands up. If not, I think that they're about equal, 1 and 2. Lots of laughs. Lots of laughs for kids and adults.
Yeah.
And really...
No poop jokes.
Yeah, the kid jokes, there's no, like, poop jokes or...
Other than the fart gun.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's mild compared to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of kids only jokes, but really most of the jokes are blended. Like both kids and adults can laugh at it, and I like that. That's a good thing in a kids movie.
I agree.
Okay, so now to the top 10. Les, what was your top number 10 so far?
My number 10 is The Conjuring, the movie we just saw today.
You need to go see The Conjuring, guys.
It's great.
It's awesome. In a world where PG-13 jump scare horror movies are
the new thing.
99% of everything. James Wan just cuts it out. He's like, nah, not going to do that. If you don't know, it's the same guy that directed Insidious and the first Saw movie and Dead Silence and Death Sentence. Really good resume. I really like his direction. And he's got a lot of cool camera angles. And The Conjuring is rated R, and it's got a lot of really cool effects, very little to no CGI.
No jump scares, really.
Maybe one.
Yeah.
1 or 2 is fine.
You have to have at least a couple.
1 or 2 is fine because it keeps the audience guessing. But when you just beat us over the head with it, it gets old. Stupid. But yeah, Conjuring. My number 10 was The Last Stand, which I loved. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger's return to movies. It's simple. It's got a plot. It just goes through the story and it ends. Like it's not overvamped or sprawled out. It's not a 2-hour epic. This is a movie that it knew exactly what it was. It was an Arnold Schwarzenegger return as a star. I mean, he was in Expendables too, but this is his first starring role back.
You definitely don't have to be thinking.
No.
Watch the movie.
It's just a fun action movie. It's a Lionsgate, and they use K and B effects, real practical effects. The blood shots are great. It feels gritty, and I like that
just
kind of
the
style.
plot is just kind of a little dull for me.
It is something that's been used before, but it's simple and it knows what it is. It's not trying to be a big giant epic movie. It was just fun. It had a plot. It got to it. It ran through it. Some really cool shots and really great effects, which are fading and fading out of cinema. So I really like that one.
Okay. My number 9 is Oz the Great and Powerful, which is kind of like the prequel to the original Oz movies. And I really liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought it was like trying to be a remake of the original Oz, and it's not. And it pretty much tells you that it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not a remake.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole new story. It's fun. I liked where they went with Oz's backstory and how the Wicked Witch came to be and everything. It was kind of childish at some points, but overall I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, some parts of the movie were kind of kiddish, but then again, the whole China doll scene.
Yeah.
That was great.
Great CGI.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, fantastic CGI.
And when you have a movie that's pretty much entirely CGI, you have to have really good CGI, otherwise it looks like crap.
Yeah, this was visually really good.
Very nice.
And visually it was great, yeah. I like James Franco's. Everybody did a good job in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there will be sequels. I kind of hope there isn't, because it leaves...
It ends.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it goes straight into Oz, where it ends. So you don't need any...
I kind of hope there isn't a whole bunch of sequels.
Yeah, me too.
It seems like everything that they can get a bite of more money from, they throw in a sequel.
Right.
And it was a good prequel, and I think it should just let it be a prequel.
Yeah.
My number 9 was The Heat, which I went into really didn't know how it was going to be, because the PG-13... Well, the trailers they put on TV were funny. It looked funny. And then we saw the Red Band, the R-rated trailer, and it just made it seem like every time there was going to be a joke, they had to cuss a whole bunch in front of it, which doesn't make a joke any funnier. It dulls the punchline. It throws the timing of the whole movie off. But no, it was great. I don't know what was up with that Red Band trailer, but that's not how the movie is. It's really funny.
It's hilarious.
I
don't even like Sandra Bullock, and she did great in this movie.
I really like Melissa McCarthy, and she kind of plays that Melissa McCarthy stereotypical type character, but I will argue it gives her more of a character than Bridesmaids did.
Right.
I mean, it makes her more grounded than usual. I love Sandra Bullock. I loved her to death in this movie, and she is an actress that sometimes I think is great and sometimes just is miscast.
Yeah.
Or the part just isn't wrote for her. But she can do really good things, and yeah, I loved Sandra Bullock in this movie. I thought it was great. It was really fun. Same director as Bridesmaids, and it has that kind of bridesmaidsy
feel.
Yeah, like the comedic parts of it. But yeah, that was a good movie.
It's fun. My number 8 is Oblivion, which is Tom Cruise's, I guess, newest movie. Basically, it's the world has been destroyed, and he and a partner of his are on Earth, kind of maintaining it, waiting, for them to go to
the new world.
The new world, I guess.
I forget what they called it. I know they have a name for it.
Yeah.
It's a moon of Saturn, isn't it? What was it? Was it Titan?
Yeah.
Go to Titan. Yeah.
But it was and it had some twists in there, and it was
a whole lot
really
of twists.
Good, really surprisingly good. I think I didn't go in there expecting to like it very much, and I came out really impressed.
It's a movie that you definitely do have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And it was a book before, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was fun. The effects are fantastic.
The story is great.
And there's a whole bunch of space-ish movies coming out, but this is one that definitely stands out. The effects are fantastic, and it has a really unique story to it.
Yeah.
It's been done before, obviously, but it's a story that hasn't been told in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one you've heard before, but it's a little different, and
it's refreshing.
And there's a lot of twists and turns, so to keep it that much more interesting,
right.
I think. Yeah, I definitely like that. My number 8 was Oz the Great and Powerful, so we already kind of mentioned that, but I like I said, I thought it was a good prequel.
My number 7 is Despicable Me 2. I am a sucker for kids movies. as you'll find out. I really enjoyed it. I laughed my butt off in it, and anything that makes me laugh usually gets pretty high marks. And it was just so cute, and the ending really, really sealed it for me with the little minions doing their thing. I won't give it away, but
yeah, if you haven't seen Despicable Me 2 yet, try to avoid all the trailers that are on TV right now because
it gives away a great surprise at the ending that
it does
die when you see it.
We went and saw this, and a week later we saw one of the trailers, and we were like, oh, I can't believe they put that in the trailer. Yeah, as if the trailers don't give enough away these days.
Right.
I mean, you know half the damn movie before you go into it.
Right.
Yeah, that was good though. My number 7 is Fast and Furious 6. I'm a huge fan of the Fast series, and I will say the 6 was just as good as 5 was, and I didn't think that was possible. And, I mean, it's not really a spoiler anymore. We know Jason Statham is going to be in Fast 7 as the villain. So, and James Wan, director of Insidious, Saw, Death Sentence, Dead Silent, and Conjuring, is going to be the director, which just, for me, makes it that much better. Looking forward to it. It was a good action movie with great effects, and again, it knows what it is. It's the Fast series. You're not going to see any of the actors in this movie up for Oscars.
Yeah.
The dialogue is not going to get them a best screenplay nomination. It's just it knows what it is, and it's
it knows
their
its place in the movie world.
and it knows its audience. It's here. You know, I've been on since 2001.
Right.
And, over 10 years of following a film series, and they haven't lost their fan base. They know who their fans are, they know what they're doing, and they keep making it more and more entertaining with each movie, and that's hard to do. So I can't wait to the next one.
My number 6 is Iron Man 3. You'll also find out that I'm a sucker for superhero movies. Usually I stay more DC with Batman, but I do love Thor and Iron Man. And Iron Man 3 doesn't disappoint. It stays on par with 1 and 2 in my opinion. You've still got his humor, but all the action's there, all the suspense, the plot, it's great.
They have some new great effects that they do with the Iron Man suit, like the new technology they do with it.
It's really cool.
Robert Downey Jr. really carries this movie.
As always.
It's not on my list, but I liked it. It wasn't that I didn't like it. The effects were fantastic. The movie's been out for about 2 months, so this really isn't a spoiler anymore. But the trailer kind of sets up to where Iron Man is going to have to fight the Mandarin, who's played by Stanley Tucci. And
build him up really well.
They build him up so much. And really, the Marvel Universe, I mean, if, the Avengers, we've seen... There are aliens, so it's not too far-fetched to have a movie where the Mandarin has, powers about him. Like, that's not too far-fetched. Yeah, like Thor, has a hammer that weighs more than the Earth, and he can pick it up. So, I mean, it's not too out of place, but they don't. They trash that idea, and you just kind of have...
It's a completely different guy. And
yeah, you have Guy Pearce just kind of running around, and it's kind of lame. But I mean, if you're a fan of the comic book series, you're probably not going to like it. I mean, I like the comics, but it worked fine as a movie. I just wish they really would have stuck to their guns, kind of. We live in a world. In their world, I mean, they have aliens, they have people with powers. This isn't too far fetched. Oh no, you can't do that.
Right.
This guy has powers. Well, I mean, we have a lot of other characters who did, and I think that it's because Shane Black is a new person in the Marvel universe. Jon Favreau did not come back to direct it, and I think that's kind of where the studio was like, well, we're going to try to kind of play it safe. Because, I mean, they spent an assload of money on it. It was like $225 million or something like that. Ridiculous budget. And I think they just wanted to kind of play it safe so that comic book fans and non-comic fans alike could enjoy it. There's Amy getting into camera frame.
She's going to help us review our movies.
She's going to help review Iron Man 3. But no, I did like it. It was just, if you're a comic book fan, it's going to be a letdown.
Yeah.
Number 6. My number 6 is Pain and Gain. I do not usually like Michael Bay movies. I usually cannot stand. He is in charge of Platinum Dunes, who produced the Friday the 13th remake and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and horror is my thing. Like, that's my main thing, and it just, like, it stabbed me through the chest to watch those two movies back and back. And now they're going to make another Friday the 13th part 2, or another reboot or whatever. And Platinum Dunes, they did alright with The Purge. I liked The Purge. It was cool. So maybe they won't mess it up so much this time. I mean, they turned Freddy Krueger into a scarecrow, and they turned Jason Voorhees into someone that kidnaps and keeps women alive and apparently feeds them for weeks. I mean, they don't show it, but he kept her for a week. Well, you can't just go a week without food. Like, he had to feed her. He must have cleaned her up her area, and that's just stupid. Anyway,
Pain and Gain.
But Pain and Gain was awesome. Michael Bay has made 3 really good movies: The Rock, The Island, and Pain and Gain. And Pain and Gain was awesome. It had great humor. It's a true story and a really weird true story.
Yeah, you can't make that stuff up.
You can't make that stuff up. And it was great from start to finish. I loved it to death. And I think that maybe he'll learn his lesson with Paramount, because he's going to have to make Transformers 4, 5, and 6. And you could tell he's kind of burnt out after Transformers 2 and 3. You know, 2 and 3 are both terrible. But maybe he'll stick to doing his own thing, because when he sticks to his own ideas and things he wants to do, I think they turn out really good.
Right.
So, but yeah, Pain and Gain was cool.
My number 5 is The Heat, which we already kind of talked about. It's a hilarious movie. Love Melissa McCarthy in it. Good movie. Go see it.
I like The Heat.
If you haven't yet.
My number 5 is The Conjuring, which, you know, I love that to death. James Wan is just a genius, and I hope that other people that are doing horror movies in other studios see that really more people come to see it. If it's, what was it last year? The Possession and The Apparition.
Yeah.
Those were 2 PG-13 garbage can movies, and they both didn't do very well at the box office.
But this one's really good.
And this one's doing really good at the box office, so maybe studios will see that and think, oh, you know, maybe
Start
we
doing
need
horror movies right again.
We need to try, yeah. But yeah, Conjuring. Go see The Conjuring.
Number 4 is Man of Steel. It's fantastic. I know, like, I hear a lot of people didn't like the new Superman movie.
A lot of people bitch about Man of Steel because when Zod, a superhuman, and his villainous friends come to a city and fight Superman, another superhuman,
there's a lot of destruction.
Destruction happens.
And people get all butthurt about the destruction.
The whole internet world just trashed this movie for having damage. And I'm sorry, what? Like, do you want a realistic script that makes sense, or do you want... I'm sorry, there has never been a movie ever made that shows superhuman beings, whatever, aliens invading something without having destruction and cost. Look at the Avengers. You know, people love the Avengers, and I liked it. But, you know, the Stark Tower gets knocked over in another building, and, you know, I'm sure people get hurt in the wreckage, and, you know, that's going to happen. That's not at the fault of the superhero.
Right.
It's not Superman's fault that while he's fighting Zod, who is just as strong as he is, and in some parts even stronger, that, you know, Zod pushes Superman through buildings that knock over and hurt people. Like that, taking an alien invasion movie, and the aliens just land in the middle of a cornfield, and they get out, and we defeat them by soaking them with super soakers. Like, I don't understand that. In a realistic script that makes sense, in a movie that has 2 forces like this colliding, shit's gonna happen. Damage is gonna happen. Buildings are gonna get turned over. Gas stations are gonna explode. Cars are gonna flip over. People are gonna get hurt. And that's just the reality of the situation. So,
but it's a fantastic
movie. If you hate that aspect of a movie, then you hate every single movie with any kind of conflict I've ever seen, and I've seen over 3,000 movies. So,
but yeah, Man of Steel is really fantastic. Really rich story from, you know, how Superman came to Earth, you know, how Superman got his name. Like, they give him a really good story, and I really liked it. The conflict in it was awesome. You know, the whole movie was just amazing in my opinion.
I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying you're an idiot if you don't like it, but if you don't like it due to there being damage, I don't understand your argument. Right. You know, if you don't like it because you didn't like the way they made it, fine. If you don't like it because you thought it was too long or that you didn't think the characterization was very good, fine. But I just don't understand the argument of the damage, and that got posted. Everywhere I looked was oh, so much damage, I hate this movie. And I'm like, I don't understand that argument.
Right.
But Man of Steel's great. My number 4 is The Place Beyond the Pines, which is probably coming to DVD pretty soon. Should definitely check that out if you missed it in theaters. My only doubt about this movie going in was Ryan Gosling, because I don't hate Ryan Gosling. I think he's a good actor, but his voice is very distinctive, and at times it can get kind of annoying. Ryan Gosling just blew the doors off of this movie. I mean, he killed it. He brought this movie. If not for Ryan Gosling in this, I can't picture anybody else.
Me neither.
Doing what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he took the role and just.
I
loved Place Beyond the Pines. I loved his performance, and it was fantastic.
It was fantastic. And my number 3 is Place Beyond the Pines. It's great. I mean, the first half of the movie is phenomenal. The second half of the movie, it feels like a whole new movie, but it still really connects with the first half, and it's fantastic.
It's really 3 movies in one.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's 3, and all the stories are big. Like, this isn't minor.
Yeah.
This isn't a side story. This is the whole focus.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they drill that out. Like, every new character that comes into play, like, you know exactly who they are. You get a really good story, really good backstory, you know. You get a feel for every character that's in the movie, and it's great.
And there's not a lot of exposition. There's actually no exposition. Every character that you know, you spend time with them and learn them. And there's no real stereotypical character in this movie. Like, it's all, a lot of times in movies involving cops, you get the stereotypical good cop, the stereotypical bad cop, and really, it's complicated than that. Life's more complicated than that. I think that's what this movie is really trying to get at. So, yeah, my number 3 is Star Trek Into Darkness, which I really like the new Star Trek movies. I like the old ones. I like the new ones.
I love the new ones. The new ones are my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as TV series, I love Next Generation the most. As far as movies, I don't know. Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan is pretty amazing. And they have a couple other good ones. Speaking
of Khan, Benedict Cumberbatch
is Benedict
phenomenal.
Cumberbatch does great in Star Trek Into Darkness.
He steals the show a lot of the times.
He does a great job, and he's a really good actor. And I hope that J.J. Abrams, I know he's doing Star Wars Episode 7, but I hope he sticks around to do Star Trek, to direct Star Trek 3.
Yeah.
You know, because that will probably...
the first two.
Yeah, that will probably be the last Star Trek movie we probably get for a while.
Yeah.
Because they'll have to find a new direction with the whole thing, because J.J. Abrams isn't going to stay and do a whole bunch. But yeah, I really like him. As a fan of the old series and the new series, I would definitely recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
My number 2 is Monsters University, which is like the prequel to Monsters, Inc. And it's super funny. Just like Despicable Me 2. It has a lot of kid humor, but also, you know, plenty of humor for the older people. And you can kind of tell that this movie was targeted for people, you know, around our age.
Yeah, kind of like Toy Story 3.
Yeah, they made it like so far after the first one so that like the people who enjoyed the first one could enjoy this one.
Right.
And I did. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I really liked it too.
Plenty of jokes, plenty of you know, more serious moments as far as, you know, serious moments go in kids movies, but it was great.
Yeah, I liked it too. My number 2 is Pacific Rim. Love that movie. The characterization isn't great. There are a lot of 2D characters in it that just they're there to be there for the script. But, I mean, really, come on, like, and I know, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, but, I mean, did you go see this movie to watch alien monsters take on man-made super robots? Or did you go to see a love story?
Deep backstory.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't like movies that, like, okay, let's say Pacific Rim was a movie where it advertised just as it does, then you go see it, and it's an hour of build-up, and then you have one fight at the end, and that's it. I don't like that. It's like, well, yeah, that was worth it.
You kind of knew what you were getting into when you go to see this movie.
Yeah, I don't know why else you would have, because the title doesn't scream... You know, if you hadn't seen a trailer, if you haven't seen anything of it, and you just see the words Pacific Rim, like, what the hell's Pacific Rim? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't...
Right.
So you would have had to have seen the trailers if you want to go see this movie.
Or at least a movie
Or
poster.
at least something. And big giant robots that man builds to take on, basically, you can almost say aliens because they're from another dimension, but they're big ass monsters. They're called kaiju, and the Jaeger is, we're basically the Jaeger pilots and the whole corporation is taking them on, trying to avoid the destruction of the world, because they had one, then a couple months later they had another one, and now they're almost coming two at a time, and they're building up and they're trying to defend Earth. So I mean, yeah, there is some characters. I like the comic relief. I really could see how Ron Perlman could get on somebody's nerves in this movie, but I thought he was funny. It's like the Kim Jae-hong effect. I don't think that his typical ha 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 shtick is funny,
right.
But other people do. So I mean, I liked Ron Perlman in the movie. I liked pretty much everything in the movie. I really liked it. I could definitely see how you could definitely break down the characterization of some of the dialogue, but the effects and the fights, which they have like 3 or 4 fights, by the way, in this movie, and they're all great. And it's not a tremendously long movie either. It's like 2 hours, I think. But it's really good, and I really liked it, and it knew what it was, and Guillaume del Toro is what I can't pronounce his first name, but he's a genius, and it was great.
And my top movie of the year so far is Star Trek Into Darkness. I fell in love with the new Star Trek movies with the first one, and this one didn't disappoint at all.
That was great.
I really loved it, and really love the new Spock, the new Kirk, the new everybody.
Yeah, the new Bones.
Uhura, they all do so good.
They do really good. That is definitely a really good movie.
Great movie.
I'm looking forward to number 3. My number 1 is Man of Steel. Kind of obvious. Love that movie. In my opinion, it was perfect. I can't wait for the second one. We're going to have Batman in the second one. So we just found that out today. So I doubt Christian Bale will be in it. They're probably going to want to go and let the Dark Knight trilogy be their own thing and start a whole new DC universe for Man of Steel forward. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I just loved it. They've made a good Superman movie since 1980, so now they have. So yeah, I really enjoyed that movie and can't wait for the sequel. So the next movie we're probably going to do is Red 2, Fruitvale Station, the way back, and Blue Jasmine aren't anywhere near us yet. It looks like the way back might make its way here. Hasn't yet, so we'll be back with Red 2, and in the meantime, just tell us what your favorite 2013 movies are so far, your least favorite, whatever, in the comment section and whatnot. You want to tell them about the Facebook page?
Yeah, be sure to like us on Facebook. We put a lot of movie news and movie posters, and our whole page is pretty much dedicated to movies. Mm-hmm. So be sure to check that out. We also both have Twitter accounts, so if you're into tweeting, you can hit us up on there.
Yeah, I'll have all the links in the description at the end of the video, so definitely check that out, though. So, you got anything else?
No.
Okay. Alright, well, we'll see you guys next time with Red 2.
Bye.